Good evening. I'm Sydney Lawrence, reporting for THS News Channel 6. Today is November 7th, 1912, and we are continuing our coverage of last night's election. Tonight, our reporters sit down with Theodore Roosevelt, William Taft, and our new president, Woodrow Wilson, to discuss progressivism and the new hot policies of his term. Tune in right after the break with Eva Barlow.
Southern Tide, brand of the South.
Hi, we're back with Channel 6 THS News. Thanks for staying with us. Here we have our new president-elect, Woodrow Wilson. Welcome.
Hi, Eva. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be the first Democrat president since Cleveland. I have big plans for America, like attacking the triple wall of privilege, banking, tariffs, and trust.
Wow, Mr. Prez, you got a lot on your plate this year. What is your plan for the tariffs?
Well, Eva, Congress is in session tomorrow in a meeting which will hopefully reduce the Payne-Aldrich tariff put in place by former President Taft, and I plan on enacting the Underwood tariff, which will reduce tariffs on imports significantly.
Sounds like you have a lot planned for tariffs. What are your banking goals?
Well, the gold standard isn't really working for the people anymore. I'm hoping that I'll be able to create 12 new district banks, which will be supervised by a National Reserve Board.
Sounds like you have a lot of reforms planned with progressive ideals.
I'm really hoping to get away from Taft's dollar diplomacy and move more into a moral diplomacy, where we're still spreading democracy, but we are doing so while respecting the other nations and their customs.
Sounds like Roosevelt will be happy with your new reforms. Thanks for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck in your new term.
Thank you for having me.
Next, Sydney will interview former President William Taft.
Drive a Toyota today.
And we're back with THS News Channel 6. I'm sitting here with former President William Taft. Mr. Taft, give me your thoughts on the election last night. Why do you think you might have lost?
Well, you know, Sydney, I feel like I was a pretty good president other than getting stuck in the bathtub that one time. But it happens to people like me. But, you know, other than that, I feel like I had a good term.
Do you think you might have ruffled any feathers with Republicans or progressivists with some of the actions that you took during your first term?
Well, you know, I tried to continue Roosevelt's progressivism, following after him with my acts like the Mann Elkins Act, which gave the Interstate Commerce Commission some more control over the railroads and making rates fair. But then I decided it would be in my best interest to side with the more conservative side of the Republican Party and do things like that. And I think I did ruffle some feathers whenever I, you know, raised whenever I raised the tariff. I do think I ruffled the progressivist feathers, and I think it was in the country's best interest for me to raise that tariff, but I don't think it was in my best interest for the re-election.
So, if you were back to the beginning of your first term, if you could start all over, would you do anything differently?
You know, I think I had a good run, and I think I did what's best for the country.
You heard it here first. That was former President William Taft. I'm Sydney Lawrence with THS News, Channel 6.
Feeling fat and unhealthy? Come work out with me, former President Taft, at the Pecan Grove Fitness Center. Work off your post-election hanging.
Welcome back. We're here with former President Roosevelt to get his opinion on the election last night. Mr. Roosevelt, welcome.
Thank you, Marissa. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're being called the first progressive president, and we see that with your actions with the Panama Canal and your square deal. Now, do you think this title is fitting?
I do. I think it's very accurate. You know, you mentioned my square deal, which was in 1902 with the anthracite coal miners.
And that was the first time that a president had sided with both the big business monopolies and the people. And I think that really put me on the map as a people person.
And how about your trust busting?
Oh, the trust busting. That was with the Northern Securities Company, big railroad monopoly that I just had to break up because it was a very bad trust. And I felt that the people were more important and they needed to be protected. Not to mention my protection of the people through the Pure Food and Drug Act and the Meat Inspection Act. As well, not just helping the people, but helping the environment with my conservationism. I've helped to develop the National Forest Service.
And how about your foreign policy?
Well, of course everyone knows my foreign policy is the big stick diplomacy, because we wanted to speak softly and use a big stick, which was our Navy, of course, if necessary. You know, I wanted to start on the right, good foot with other nations, and if I needed to, I would take aggressive force.
And obviously President Taft was not reelected last night. Do you think he went against some of your policies and was not progressive like you were?
I would say that's accurate. You know, Taft, he was a good man. I think he had good intentions, but he got a little mixed up with the conservatives and the Republicans and just ruffled too many feathers, went against too many ideas that the American people had originally supported, and I think that's why he lost a lot of his support.
And how do you feel about our new president, Woodrow Wilson?
Woodrow Wilson, he's a very good man. I like him a lot. I think he will continue a lot of my policies. His interview this morning with Miss Eva Barlow proves that he had a lot of good ideas, and I think he is a man with a lot of potential.
Okay, well, thank you, President Roosevelt. That concludes our interviews with the most recent president, and we hope that you tune back in soon.
News on Channel 6. Today is November 7th, 1912, and it's all out.
Do it. Sell it. Sell your car. Sell it to me. Let's go. I'm good. I know. Nice car. Sell it to me. Come on.
7th, 1912, and we are continuing our coverage of last night's election.
Wait, stop. Oh, God. Wait, what happened to your button? Oh, I guess there's only two? Okay. Tuck that in there real good. Okay. Would you chinny... Crap. And we're back with THS News Channel 6. I'm sitting down here with former President William Taft. Mr. Taft, why do you think you might have lost the election last night?
Well, you know, I feel like I was a pretty good president. I was pretty stuff like that to that one time. But it is what it is, and it happens to people like me.
Do you think you maybe ruffled some feathers with Republicans or progressivists that might have caused them to not vote for you? Would you change anything to maybe gain their vote?
Well, you know, I tried to continue Roosevelt's progressivism, and I tried to continue to do stuff like that with my Mann-Elkins Act, which gave the Interstate Commerce Commission some more control over railroad rates and made that more fair for the people. But then I decided that it would be in my best interest to side with the conservative side of the Republicans. And then that kind of did ruffle some feathers with the progressivists, and they were upset with me when I raised the tariffs. But, you know, I felt like it was in the country's best interest, but it wasn't in my best interest for getting reelected.
Would you chinny... Crap.